Hello, hello. Welcome to Ladies POV. It's been forever and ever since we have been here. I am one of your hosts, Devin, and my usual hosts, Miss Rue and Miss Lucretia. They have some very important things going on in their life, so they're not able to join me this evening. However, we still got it taken care of. We have Miss Lauren and we have Miss Sharetta, who will be joining me today as guest host. Hey, ladies, how are you this Sunday evening? Miss Sharetta.
I'm good. How are you?
Man, my computer and technology is turning on me today. But other than that,
I understand.
I have been okay. How's your Sunday, Miss Lauren?
Great, honestly. It's been a lovely day.
It's been a lovely day. Yeah. Well, on this particular podcast, we're a panel of ladies who discuss things such as political topics, things that are going on in the news, as well as little fun topics. And we just all kind of chime in and get everyone's opinion. And it's a fun show. Hey, Shantae, good evening. Good evening. So we have quite a few topics we're going to hit on today. So I just want to jump on in if you ladies don't mind. As we know lately, the news has been flooding with a lot of reports related to limitations faced by a number of Black athletes with this year's Tokyo 2020 Olympics, making people wonder if there's something going on as far as limitations with Black people, or is there a bias? Or what actually is going on? What are you ladies' opinion? I'm gonna start with you, Miss Lauren.
Yeah, I think it's frustrating to see, especially around there's a lot of talk about the hormones and, naturally occurring hormones in these women who are not being allowed to compete because they are seeing that as an unfair advantage. But really, when we saw this with Michael Phelps, a few Olympics back, he has less, lactic acid at the end of the day. And so his muscles recover faster. And the Olympic officials were like, that's great. Congratulations to you. So why is it so that we're going to ban women who are, genetically women who happen to produce more of of testosterone? To me, that's exceptionally frustrating. Just seeing that, knowing that that's just something they can't control, forcing them to take a medication to bring their levels down just seems wrong to me.
Okay. Sharetta, where are you? First of all, let me shout out my dudes real quick, y'all. I got to shout out Mr. Kendrick and Lamar for joining us.
Hey, Kendrick and Lamar.
Welcome. Ooh. Welcome. All right.
Kendrick Lamar. Anyways, so yeah, this day body, so you're gonna have me, an athlete, introduce a synthetic, not enhancer, but I don't even know the word to use, something that's going to change me to make me less of who I am. No. And then when we talk about Mr. Michael Phelps and we talk about Miss Shakara, Michael Phelps was smoking weed at the Olympics and they still let him compete. And you have this young lady, a young girl, 21 years old. She just made it to legal. The fact that a reporter came to her after a race and informed her that her biological mother had died. She literally found out in an interview. First of all, where's your humanity? I understand she knew the rules, and I applaud her for taking, responsibility for her actions and not trying to, but at the same time, I've never smoked weed before in my life. Come on, y'all, it's just weed. I honestly think that they saw that the United States of America in particular, but Black women was about to sweep in every category that they were in. So they had to figure out a way to, yeah. That's the way I feel about it. Now, will I still be watching? Yes, because honestly, track and field is my favorite sport, and the only time that you really, really get to see it be televised is during the Olympics. So I'm still going to watch the Olympics, but the shade that they threw to the melanated sisters is very real.
What I'm hoping that this does is maybe allow them to take a look into like the rule book and the things that are allowed versus aren't allowed. Because I personally believe that weed is a downer.
It is.
So I don't think it's going to be like a performance enhancing drug, meaning I don't think she's going to have a one up on anyone
Exactly. I saw
by
someone
having
say,
marijuana in her
"Can you
system.
imagine how fast she would have run had she not smoked weed?"
Yes, marijuana has been proven to actually slow your reflexes, and just delay your train of thought. And let's be honest, if we think about the stereotype of a weed head, we see some dude that's laying on the couch, lazy, playing video games, not wanting to do anything in his life and not move. So I feel like marijuana should not be considered one of those performance enhancing drugs. Matter of fact, if I was competing against her, I would have been the one advocating for her to be able to participate, because I think it would have hurt her more than it helped her. But at the same time, devil's advocate, I also believe that there have to be rules in place. I believe that this young woman is just that. She's young and she made a mistake. And I believe she will learn from this mistake. And I believe that as a result of that, she wouldn't do that again. She's so young that I don't think it will halt her career in any.
No, she'll be there in 4 years.
And I think that she'll continue to train. And then by the time it's time to perform again in a few years, she'll be on her game, and she'll learn from it. As far as Olympics being a deterrent based strictly on race, I don't know if I necessarily feel that way, but my heart goes out to that young girl because I understand what she's been through, and I won't go into her history and her upbringing and things like that. I just hope that this is a lesson for her. Thanks, Kendrick. I just hope that this is a life lesson for her, because this is not just related to the Olympics. You'll have rules and things that you can and cannot do throughout your life.
The other issue I had with the Olympics is the swimmers. Like there is a company that makes swim caps specifically for women with bigger hair, primarily African American women who have natural hair, and their hair can't necessarily fit underneath the swim caps that the Olympic Committee has approved. And so they submitted these other swim caps and they denied them. So now you have this group of women who your hair has to go underneath this cap in order to swim. Like it is a requirement, but their hair doesn't fit. So are they gonna shave? Are you requiring them to shave their heads? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I
think there's a lot of bias. I think something like that. There are some things that need to be revisited.
Well, I think that may have come up because let's be honest, I'm not used to seeing a lot of people who look like me in swimming. So I think that would have to be a new something that they add in as far as regulations, because there's just not. I've never seen a lot of people
exactly, but that's what they tried to do this year. That's what they tried to do this year, and they were denied.
Yeah. So the committee said no to the petition, and that was one that I saw. That one sat really wrong with me too, because the company that petitioned for this, they're based in the UK, and they said the reason they made this cap and the reason that they put this petition into the Olympics is because the percentage of Black kids who know how to swim in the UK is so low that they're trying to break down those barriers. And so by putting these limits on them, and this is accepted now, in Europe, this cap is allowed in all of those competitions. So the folks who are qualifying for the Olympics may be wearing it and are now being told they can't wear it once they've already qualified. And that's the part that really sat wrong with me, was that if we're allowing it throughout the training and through the trials, then how come they can't wear it, right? Like, why is the committee saying no?
I think
that one especially.
I think that's definitely a conversation worth having, because I think that that falls into more of a bias and a discrimination type issue. So I do think that's a fair one that definitely needs to be addressed and is completely a wrong. But yeah, we're about a quarter into this, and I'm kind of excited about this next topic.
There's a lot to say about the Olympics. Always.
There's a lot to say about the Olympics, but no one at the Olympics has had a meltdown yet. However, however, at Victoria's Secret, there was quite the meltdown. Yeah. 2 for 20 Karen is what I'm gonna call her, because that's what I get my underwear for on a regular basis.
Baby, that woman went in there for her free pair of panties.
Had an incident, probably messing up the sale of panties for so many of us, because we go in there for that sale. Because I don't know about y'all, Victoria's Secret costs a lot. So when they have those panties for like 2 for 25 or 7 for 25, or sometimes you can get about 900 of them for about $30. But you can't even get to the counter and pay for them, because I don't know if y'all noticed, there was a woman that had fallen out in the floor. What's up, Brittany? And showed all of her behind. Yeah, Sharetta.
Whole temple tantrum.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like watching a
But
4-year-old.
y'all, okay. The fact that that first fall out into the floor, girl, if you don't get yourself up off this dirty floor, we just came out of a whole pandemic, and you gonna lay yourself down here on this dirty, nasty floor with people dirty feet. Girl, if you don't get up off that floor.
That's what I'm saying. I would have stepped over to get my 5 for 25, Shantae, because I had things to do. And
then that temper tantrum, baby, she just shaking. Yo, it was funny. And then the way she chased that woman around. Listen, my patience, by the time she got to the point where she was chasing that woman around, my patience had got low. I'm sorry. I'd have slowed down and accidentally tripped her. You was going to bump your chin on this counter over her. Boop. Oops. Come on, man.
I want to know what everyone else in the store was doing. Like, were you really just standing there watching this?
No,
Were
did you see where the other customers were like, leave her alone, leave her alone. She was just chasing me around the store.
Lauren, since we have you on the line today, let me ask you a question. In no way, shape, or form do I expect you to represent all the white women of the world. However, what is this a comment? Is it? I mean, like, what's up? Like,
honestly, this is something that I have no idea. And I was saying earlier when we were, getting through the prep, this is my hometown mall where this happened. Like, this is a Victoria's Secret I've been in, and I've never seen someone behave like that wasn't 5 years old and under in that store, in that mall. And it was embarrassing. Like, that is just beyond embarrassing to see someone behave that way, especially so dramatic, like fake, right? Like that faint, that's what you see in movies, woman. Like, come on now.
She's filming my mental breakdown.
And it is just, we see this so much happening now because people are filming it, right? Like, that's what it's coming down to. I think this has always been an issue, not necessarily the tantrum side of it, but definitely the like white women got to get their way kind of side of it. And I will say that even as a white woman, like, you see that all the time. And around here, that's a high end mall. This is where the fancy people go to shop. They're not used to getting their way. Like, they always get their way. And that's absolutely what it looked like to me.
And although I got a real nice kiki out of 5 for 25, Karen, if I'm having a real conversation about it, a real in-depth conversation about it, I feel like white women are sort of a lot of times portrayed as this kind of damsel in distress. Mm-hmm. And when it wasn't working, just by her saying, I feel threatened and I feel like a damsel in distress. It went into full-fledged meltdown and tantrum. And I watched a few videos of it, and I don't know exactly what the woman who was the victim actually looked like. But my fear watching this video was because her voice came across like she was a very strong, unbothered, I'm not here for your BS type woman. My fear that when the authorities walked in, my fear was that they were going to assume that this crazy lady that fell out in the floor had actually been attacked. And then the victim would have easily become offender and would have been handled as such. And when she was saying that she felt threatened after we watched this woman chase her around the store because of her phone, when she could have easily paid for her panties, bras, and perfume and just walked out, and it would have been over. But I almost felt like she had a point to prove. Yeah. She had a mission at that point. She wanted this woman to be punished for doing something she had asked her not to do. So, absolutely. And Shantae saying Crazy admitted she was upset about her filming because she was scared she'd lose her job in an apartment. And I totally get that.
Stop acting a fool in public.
And I totally get that. But she could have easily done someone that. When the woman started filming her, there wasn't an attack in progress. Now, the store could have had something on camera, as far as from their footage of the woman being attacked, the actual victim being attacked. But the woman with the phone started recording her after. I feel like it was somewhere in the middle.
Well, she said the woman had swung at her.
Yeah,
but I see at the very beginning.
I feel
of the
like
video,
she started filming after we missed a pertinent part of whatever.
Yeah, like it was
something pertinent happened by the time she started.
And I feel like I want to say, like, I feel like we kind of get stuck in that place where people are like, well, we didn't get the whole story. Well, are we as people supposed to walk around with a video camera on our chest that is constantly recording as if we're law enforcement who should have body cams? Like, are we required to walk around with body cams all the time? We don't know that crazy woman Karen is in Victoria's Secret and gonna do something until after she does it. So we can't get the first part. We can only get the reaction because now we realize, oh, we need to have this on tape. We need to have some type of proof. Yeah. And the fact that we feel like we need to have some type of proof because they had called security. They, you know what I'm saying? They had called security. I need to have something to prove that I'm not the crazy one in this situation because when security gets here, they see her with her fake white woman tears and they see me, a strong black woman who is unbothered. They're automatically going to believe that I'm the offender and not the victim. So
I think people automatically, well, in the past, they always geared toward the person who seemed the most fragile.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And we don't have a choice but to record so that we can have some type of proof to show, no. This is what happened.
And I think at that point that she appeared the most fragile, and the cop assumed because of whomever that woman was and her demeanor and she probably looked like that lady can't hurt her. You see what I'm saying? So they assumed, oh, you're all right. Just, we'll escort you to your car and let you leave because obviously they didn't think that woman was
a threat to her.
Was at risk of being harmed. But they also didn't see crazy lady run after her. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Which is why that's why I'm saying
like a Tokyo track star through that Victoria's Secret, almost like she could cause her some harm. So I feel what needs to happen is when people play that whole I feel threatened, even when they were the one who were actually the aggressor in a way of trying to cause harm to the person they actually victimized, there should be some type of charge put in place. Actually, I think there is a charge for filing a false report.
False reports, but it almost never gets used, and it should. It really should.
But this needs to be enforced because I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Depending on what kind of day I was having on any given Friday, Saturday, Sunday, And if I got my coupon and it expires tomorrow and I need my panties and my bra, if this woman would have come at me running, I probably would have knocked the hell out of her. Let's just be real.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would have probably ended up in jail,
Right.
unless I had proof that I was the one who was actually attacked. Because crazy woman, when she came running at her, in my opinion, had every right to get her ass handed to her in that moment.
Every single solitary right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, Shantae, she was lucky she didn't get chin checked. But with the right person, she fortunately for her approached a very calm person who was just shocked by a tantrum being thrown by someone who wasn't 18 months old. So she didn't want to hit her, but I think she would have had every right to hit her when she came running at her, because she could have easily said that she was threatened.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And
So
I think that's the place that we as Black women live in. That's the space that we live in, unfortunately, because yes, I know I have every right. At this point, you're literally chasing me around a store. Literally, like not like you're literally in a run and I'm literally running from you, chasing me around a display in a store.
When she could have just walked out. She could have just gotten in her car and left.
Right. But she still hadn't got her revenge yet.
And now her job wouldn't be investigating her, because even if her job says that she didn't commit a crime, now her job has to wonder, have we hired somebody who's mentally insane?
Right. But that's my point.
It's
like
also,
the fact that we as Black women
too
live in the space where I can't even defend myself for fear of repercussions, because yes, she had every right at that point to defend herself. But knowing that if I punch this chick in her face and get her to leave me alone, when the authorities finally get here, there is a very high likelihood that I will be arrested, even though she was the aggressor.
Yeah, it's the truth. But then that's when she could have gone after not only the person who did that, the offender, she could have also gone after the police, mall security, who never seemed to come. I don't know why they never
but they did come, but it was only after Victoria's Secret literally, they had called, they literally had to send an employee to the mall security office to get someone to get them to come back. And the employee made it back to the store before mall security finally got there.
I think there was a lot of drama. I don't blame her for videoing her because she was crazy. I think she could have knocked the hell out of her and been just fine, because she had proof that she could have said she feared for her life and she felt threatened because this lady is cuckoo, and cuckoo people do cuckoo things, right? That lady could have followed her to her car and started punching her car and hitting at her car. I really feel like she should have been escorted from those premises. I think she should have been taken for a psych eval to the hospital and put her on a 72-hour.
I don't know if you saw the last part of the video. Like there was the part in the store, but then after that, the victim went to the police department to file a complaint because of the way the police officers treated her when they finally made it there. And even the officer that she spoke with at the police department was very dismissive.
I did see that. Unfortunately, I don't think it will go anywhere. Brittany mentioned that we don't have the privilege of using the phrase "I feared for my life" in self-defense situations.
No, we don't.
But why won't we start? If everybody starts saying that, then it may kind of sway the narrative in a different direction. And if it's ignored, and it's that being ignored is not addressed, then that can also probably initiate, something else. So I think she should have said, "I feared for my life. I feel threatened," and she should have gone from there and saw what happened. It was a sad situation. I think that lady had some mental health stuff going on, not just because definitely she was a 5 for 25 Karen, but she has some mental health, because normal, sane, rational humans don't
react like that.
Bloody murder in the middle of Victoria's Secret. Hey, Tam, what's up? They don't do that.
No,
that's not what happens. That wasn't a normal person. And if I was her job, if I'm not mistaken, is Kaiser, I would very well investigate her mental health and who I have working for my company. Thank you, Tam. Appreciate that super chat or super sticker. Much love. But yeah, any other thoughts or opinions on that?
I I think that it would be the ideal situation to see more of, instead of just having to film it to prove your side as the victim, that there
Mm-hmm.
would be more belief, um, from the ground up, especially as we're seeing more and more of these videos. I think that needs to happen. Do I think we're gonna see it anytime soon? I'm not so sure, but I would like to see that, especially as these videos continue to come to light, that we're seeing what's really happening in this world, and that it's not the default assumption, right, of the calm person is the one who's the aggressor. That's not necessarily the case, and I think that that's something we really need to see more of.
Yeah. And rolling from a crazy situation to a very sad situation, the subject of is there healthcare bias has arisen after there was a viral video of a toddler's from a hospital toddler's room after he was on a ventilator and unfortunately passed away. He was declared brain dead, so there or minimal or having minimal brain activity. Um, but they are feeling like his needs weren't met appropriately. And it sparked the question of is there healthcare bias in relation to, I'll just say, is there healthcare bias? I'll leave it at that. Sharetta, what are your thoughts on that?
Is there healthcare bias? Yes. Um, am I certain that this is the case study to use? No, because there are so many other factors that went into this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that the baby had been ill, had an accident, um, that and had been in care for over a year
Mm-hmm.
prior to his death. I don't think this is the particular case study to use. Um, However, do I believe that there is bias in healthcare? Absolutely. Have I experienced it personally? Yes, I have. Um, the answer to it is really, I believe, becoming an advocate for yourself. Um, I know a lot of doctors that have God complexes, and unless you knock them off, they pedestal with your own information. You're gonna face that, and you need to have advocates outside of yourself, because in the case that you become unresponsive and you become unable to make those decisions and be able to speak up for yourself, you need to have someone else that has the proper paperwork. So there's, making sure that you have a medical power of attorney, and have that, and your advocate is just as knowledgeable as you are. But just going into a doctor's office and just accepting what they say just because they said it, no, we can't do that anymore. We as African American people cannot, I don't think that we can trust the medical community like that. We can't just give that blanket amount of trust because of the things that we've seen historically
Mm-hmm.
and how we've been treated historically. I just don't think that's something that we as the Black community can give to the medical community. So we definitely have to be advocates for our own selves and make sure that our paperwork is in place and make sure that we have a second person that is there that can advocate for us in the event that we're unable to advocate for ourselves.
Okay, and before I get over to Lauren, I'm gonna read Tam's comments. She says, "I'm late. I was really horrified watching the video, one from the aggressor and the reaction of the other woman who told the Black woman to leave so that the agitator would be okay." Yeah, we definitely agree with you. That was a horrible, horrible film. And Shantae said, "I've experienced a class and race bias in healthcare. Poor care given to the poor, Black women not given pain management." Lauren, what are your feelings
Yeah.
as far as
Um,
healthcare bias?
I absolutely believe there's bias in healthcare. I see it myself.
just as a woman, when you go to the ER, they tend to think we're just, looking for sympathy, we're overreacting. As a fat woman, even more so, the frequency with which I'm told just lose weight and everything will be fine is absolutely appalling. Obviously, I can't personally speak to the race situation, but I work as a patient advocate, and I work in healthcare, and we see it all the time. We see the delay to diagnosis is significantly higher, not just because of lack of resources in rural areas, but also like people don't get treated the same. People just don't get treated the same, and especially when it comes to something like pain management, when you're dealing with a chronic condition, um, it is absolutely assumed first drug seeking, and color of skin absolutely plays a part in that. And it's just terrible to see that and to know that people are suffering just because of bias. I mean, there's really no reason for it. And we know that it's true also in research, right? We see the self-selection almost overwhelmingly of medications being approved. They're treated primarily in white people, unless we're looking at the really horrific stuff like Tuskegee, which nobody wants to talk about that, but we should talk about that, right? Um, why do we see delay to diagnosis in Black folks? One, the doctors don't believe them, and two, they're afraid to go. And you have every reason to be.
Um, I also work in healthcare, and the one thing that I have noticed, and the reason why I left it at, is there a healthcare bias? When I look at an individual's chart, now it no longer says 21-year-old African American or Caucasian. They don't do that anymore. It's just 21-year-old female. Blah 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 blah. So I kind of look at it from just a standpoint of what's going on. But what I have found as far as bias is always related to your funding, what type of insurance that you have. So I noticed that there may be some difference in treatment and difference of things like that related to your funding. And then I've also noticed a major bias in relation to your support, meaning your family support and your advocates and things like that. I've noticed those bias when it comes to that. As far as the pain seeking stuff, a lot of people do get put in the category of pain seeking that I don't think belong into it. I notice a lot of sickle cell patients get put in the category of being pain seekers. However, what I've also found and what I don't like and what I think needs to be addressed in healthcare is a lot of times people come in and they have a problem. I've dealt with it even myself because I have issues with pain sometimes. Opposed to treating or fixing the reason that a person is in pain, they throw all of these opioids and this pain medication at you, right? So you become accustomed to and you develop this tolerance to pain medication. And then you run out of pain medication, you run back to the hospital because you think there's something wrong with me. Oh my God, I'm still hurting so bad. And now you've been labeled as this pain seeker because all they've ever done in your life is thrown opioids at you. They refer you to pain management and then they judge you. So you're no longer going to be treated appropriately, in my opinion, because you have a chronic pain issue. As far as color, what I've noticed is primarily with Black men. There's this assumption that that Black men have this greater tolerance for things, tolerance for pain, tolerance for treatments. So you are more apt to become this pincushion and not be appropriately and not have your pain appropriately addressed. And sometimes you may be dismissed from the hospital before you should be because, for one, because you're Black, but two, because a lot of Black men, I'm just being honest, are stubborn as hell. And from the time they can get there, they can have 4 toes hanging off and 1 leg hanging off. And they're going to walk in there and say, can you just give me a Band-Aid? I want to go home. I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. I don't have time for y'all. Can I just go home? Can I just go home? That's what I get a lot from Black men. But that's when myself as a healthcare professional has to say, Lamar, you know damn well you have only 1 toe one good toe left, and we need to fix these other 4 toes. Sit your ass down and let me do this for you and give you this pain medication so that you can get better. Because I think a lot of Black men they don't want to be deemed as a complainer or needy or not being able to take care of things,
or weak.
or
Yeah,
weak.
I was
They
gonna
don't
say
want to be portrayed as weak. And I think physicians, of course, they know that. They go through training to be able to teach them. I mean, yeah, this man says I'm ready to go home, but his blood pressure is 190 over 110. He cannot go home. You need to ignore him. Cuss Lamar out, make him sit down, call his family, tell them to have him sit down, and treat him appropriately. So there is a lot of bias in healthcare. And a lot of white people, and not just white people, Asian people, Middle Eastern people, they have a much lower tolerance to everything. Let me be honest. So something that a person that someone may go in, be able to be treated for 48 to 72 hours and go home, they may feel like, why are you making me leave? I need to be here at least 2 more weeks. And that comes into that. I don't know why there's this fragility with certain ethnicities. But then that needs to be addressed, because then everyone is stereotyped. You know what I'm saying? Every African American is stereotyped as being stronger and should be able to leave tomorrow morning. And non-African American people, a lot of times, are deemed as being more fragile. And let's get them much longer, more appropriate care and more resources and things of that nature. So there definitely is a bias in healthcare. And thank you, Shantae. But that has to be addressed. And what it's going to take is more people like us to complain and to say, this is what I recognize. And I do in my healthcare field. I'm one of those people, unfortunately, who say whatever the heck I think I need to say. And they just be like,
we need more of you.
I don't care, because I tell some of the nurses and the staff, you got to cuss out the Lamars and tell them what they need. Because if not, he's going to go home. God forbid, he's going to have a heart attack or a stroke and be right back, and it's going to be much worse. We have to address those problems accordingly. And we're not considered weak. A lot of that deems into the toxic masculinity culture of Black men. Whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But we've got to get away from that so that these things cannot happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Right. Much funner topic. Let's make it less serious. Hey, y'all, I was watching on TV, and there were a bunch of Caucasian people who actually got on a rocket ship and left the Earth for about $200,000. Yeah, Lauren, you going to space?
No. Not anytime soon. I love the idea, right? Like, I mean, who doesn't, right? The idea of going someplace that nobody's been before. That's amazing. There's so many better things to do with that money.
The primary guy, the Virgin Mobile guy, he's got billions. So 200,000 for him was like not a bag of chips for us.
But how much, talking about healthcare bias, how many people who are getting treated because they don't have insurance, how much medication could that get for someone?
Well, now you're going into the capitalism thing. I'll go a whole other topic.
Okay, I think confused.
For me, if I had that money, I'm spending it on something better.
Yeah.
I think I'm confused. When I heard this question, I thought you were saying they gonna pay me $200,000.
No.
You mean it? I gotta pay you $200,000?
You're gonna roll up to the American Airlines of NASA. Get on the rocket ship, and you're going on a trip in a big old rocket ship out of the orbit of Earth.
Listen.
So you can look down at Earth and then turn around and come back.
Listen. I almost hate to keep going there, but I'm a Black woman. I am a Black woman. So you gonna shoot us all off into space and leave us out there? Lies. Nope. No, thank you. I'm stay right here. If God wanted me to go into space, he would have strapped a rocket to my back. I stay on the ground.
Someone literally asked me this, right? Like, I have a trip coming up, and they kind of got on me because I didn't even want a zip line, right? because I have a fear of heights. I'm that person when I'm on an airplane, and I fly a lot. I like to travel, right? I still have a little mini meltdown when there's too much turbulence.
Yes, ma'am.
Did y'all see? Did y'all see the spaceship that blew up? And these were people who were paid a lot of money, trained for many years, had a job to do somewhere out there, you know, with the aliens, and it blew up. And they
Not
were
with me on
paid to
board.
do that. That was their job. So you want me to give you money to risk my life? Is that what you? Is
No,
that
thank
what?
you.
Is
Yeah,
that what?
no, thank you.
Like, I need somebody to
The
make
most
it.
risking of my life I'm gonna do in that sense is pay for a plane ticket. I'm not getting on no.
Lamar Kendrick, Faith and Foolishness, and Shantae. I'm right with you. It's not happening. It's not happening. I'd rather go to the DMV. Let me be in line for 12 hours trying to get my driver's license renewed. I'd rather do that than to get on I can watch it on video. You know how many tapes they have of you to be able to see what it looks like from outer space?
Wonderful. I'll watch every last one of them.
What are you missing in your life when you are that bored and you don't have enough? You need a hobby. You need a real hobby. Go advocate for some of these people being mistreated in the healthcare system, or find something to do with your time than to get your. I don't. No, Tam. You know what I'm saying? I've paid for it, you know, and I told just because I want to be a part of the act, you know, I want to be with the girls, you know, while we're all together. But will I get on the actual zip line?
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm luscious. I'm luscious. I don't know how many people been on this line before me, and I don't know that if the one time I get on the line, it'll be too much. I'm no, thank you. I'm not getting on the zip line. I'm not going in outer space. Be glad I'm gonna get on an airplane.
Lamar, we haven't discussed what I'm supposed to do when I get there, and I'm not willing to go down. I hadn't figured that out yet. I may need to just stay at the initial part of it's just so when I get up there, it won't be no problems. Yeah, because I have fears of heights in normal buildings. Like if you take me to one of those hotels that have a lot of floors, but the inside is like a rail to look down, I can't even do that. But you want me to get on the zip line in Mexico and hope that cord,
Yeah, no, thank you.
that dental floss is going to
over the top of the trees.
I'll do a
Valerie mentioned that all the ones who are paid for the trip to go to space are out of all the ones who paid for the trip to go to space is out of their minds. That's
right, Aunt Val. That's my auntie, y'all.
I wanna talk to these people and ask them, what are you missing in your life?
Right.
Have you gone everywhere, done everything, seen everything to where you felt like the last thing in life that you wanted to do was you need a new bucket list. My bucket list has a lot of stuff in it. And the reason why I can't do it is because it costs a lot of money. But and you know what's funny, Lamar? They didn't do anything. They left Earth, got high enough where they could look down at Earth, and turn around and came right back.
Lies.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Lies.
Kendrick, there ain't a man alive. And let's just say
that man crush for 200. No.
Let's just say somebody stuck Idris on a rocket ship. I'm gonna have to wave at his ass on his way up there, and I'll tell him I'll see you.
And I'll be there waiting to give him a hug when he get back. That's it.
I ain't gonna be able to do it, you know, because my hall pass in my relationship, and don't judge me, is Barack Obama. And I know he old, and I don't care. And Michelle will have to forgive me. But if they told me, Devin, you can get on a spaceship with Barack and go to space, I'm gonna tell him, I hope you make it back, because that would be such a waste of a life. But I ain't taking my black ass anywhere near. I don't even want to be able to smell the fumes from the ship.
There's a local zip line in Plano. Come get your feet wet. I will get my feet wet in the shower, in the swimming pool, just not on a zip line.
I wish I would. And in more foolishness, Some dude.
Can we face palm? Can we have a collective face palm?
And I hope you're doing well. I know you I told you I wasn't ready for a relationship, but I met a girl and I just felt like kismet. Anyways, her birthday was coming up and I wanted to get her that perfume you wear. I remember it smelled amazing. What is the name of it? I want y'all to tell me quickly. What's the name? What your response, Lauren? What is your response to this dude who didn't want a relationship with you? Thank you, Lamar. Thank you for looking out. Appreciate that.
That's a good luck.
Thank you.
Wrong person. Just no. That's just a level of disrespect that I can't deal with that.
See, you are so kind. I'm gonna need Sharetta. I'm gonna need Sharetta to address that.
Mm-hmm. See, my Val is watching this show.
You can always no. You say you got me. You better get your.
Listen, I'll be like, who in the blip 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 do you? You know what? No, I wouldn't. Let me be honest. If I were to receive such a message, it would stay just like that. I would not respond because you're not worth my energy. You're not worth my energy. Obviously, you done already told me that you said you wasn't ready for a relationship. You done found this chick. Cool. Take your behind to Macy's. Take your behind to Dillard's. Take your behind to Nordstrom's and smell everything on the counter until you figure it out. Because what you're not going to do is get me to tell you nothing. I'm just not going to even respond. Now, there was a time in my life that he got all the business. But I'm trying to grow.
Well, God ain't through with me yet.
Oh, he ain't through with me yet.
And my level of petty, it seems to be. It seems to be
all that in there. Why you have to put all that extra information in there? You just could have said, what was the name of that perfume you used to wear? I really liked it. And left it at that. She didn't have to add. You didn't have to put all that. I know I told you I wasn't ready for a relationship, but I done met this chick and it's kismet. You don't even know what that word mean. You had to go look it up before you put it in that mix.
Shantae was like, he could kiss the furthest part of the crack of my behind. Better find somebody safe to play with. Try Jesus, not me. I wouldn't even do that. Let me educate you ladies on how to be the correct petty in 2021. If he sent me that message, I'm going to say, hey, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad you're doing well and you found love. I wear Bulgari, and it's the one that's clear with the silver top. Let me know what she thinks about it when you get it for her. And then when he gets back with me, because he will, because men have a lot of ego, they have ego and no common sense, because sometimes they think those, because sometimes they testicles are bigger than their brain, depending on who the dude is, right? When it comes to relationships. And when he tells me that he got the cologne for the girl and that she really likes this perfume, I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to inbox her. And I'm going to say, hey, Stanley told me that you like that perfume that he just bought you, because he had sent me a message and asked me what was the name of that perfume that I wear, because he really wanted to get it for you. And he said that you're enjoying it. So how's it going? I'm a reach out to her and ask her. I'm going to ask her if it bothers her that every time she wears it, he's probably thinking about me. And then I'll wait for him to message me again before I block him. That's how you do that. You make it difficult for him. Make it uncomfortable for him when he shows up at her house that day, because she just found out why he just bought her Bulgari. That's how you do that. You don't mean to be unbothered, and then you just make it difficult for him. And then she gonna throw that cologne right at him, where it's gonna be covered. The floor is gonna be covered in it, and he gonna be a piece of you know what, and how dare you, and that's how you do it. Just be petty. I'll help educate y'all on how to be petty in 2021. You got to work on that.
Normally my petty is turned all the way up, but I am just in a different, this is a growth place for me. I'm really trying to get better, because there's some folks that can tell you, baby, my petty level can be.
And Kendrick, you're right, men are petty. And that was him trying to be petty by
It was.
asking her the name of that cologne for his new woman. So I'm gonna have to one up his petty. And y'all, apologies for the clicking. I'm on a different computer. I don't know if it's me. So, but we're about a few minutes before we have to end this. So I would kind of like to review the topics and get you guys final thoughts and feelings on it. And once again, I really want to, say thank you guys for coming to join me. I wish you could have been here with you and Lucretia because they are.
Oh, I know. I've worked with Drew on a show before, and Lucretia and I are actually high school classmates. So,
okay. So you know her level of petty as well.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And we match quite well.
We could have had a petty party. We could have had a petty party. But Sharetta,
yes.
Let me get your final thoughts on everything we discussed.
So, the Olympics need to quit tripping with women of color and get mad. The Karen needed a nap because clearly it was nap time.
Did she have to get her panties though?
Huh?
Did she have to get her panties?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And healthcare, we just got to remember to be advocates for ourselves, advocate, make sure that we have the proper paperwork, and make sure that we have a support advocate for us as well. I ain't going to space, period, end of sentence. And be thankful that, the Lord has reduced some of my petty. Hallelujah.
I'm gonna say a prayer for it to come back though. Anyway, please, we need that. Little petty ain't
go far, believe me.
A little bit of petty ain't never hurt nobody.
Oh no! I still got some. It just ain't as.
It's not as elevated. Right. Lauren.
Yeah, the Olympics needs to rethink how they treat not white men. Full stop. Completely need to change everything with regards to that. Karen, I agree. She definitely needs a nap. And I hope that Victoria's Secret has banned her from ever coming back for 525 because she deserves that. Yeah, space is off the table for me too. I'm not going. Healthcare, we need to do better in so many ways, but I completely agree. You need to be your own best advocate, and you need to know what you need so that you can make sure that you get treated right. And then I don't even have words for dudes who come back at you like that. I think that's my problem is I'm just so speechless with that one that I don't even have a response to him. Like, thank you.
If it ever happened to you, just get a hold of me, girl. I'll help you. I'll help you out.
I need it because honestly, I look at that and I'm like, thanks. Good luck.
Right.
I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah. Before I give my final thoughts, I want to say thank you guys for all the kudos on the show. It was a lot of fun. As far as the Olympics goes, if you are a runner and you know that a person that is your competitor is smoking marijuana, I'm gonna need you to advocate for them to keep smoking marijuana. That way you can increase your chances of winning because it is not a performance enhancer. It is created for people who have anxiety and things like that to calm and relax you. So yeah, but as far as African-American people versus the Olympics, it hasn't been a good year. I hope some things are addressed. I hope that the things that have come up as far as social media come up later. And there are some changes the next go round, okay? As far as 5 to 25 Karen's meltdown, I I just thought it was hilarious. I'm glad that people are picking up phones and recording things like that, not just because it's entertainment for people like myself, but because it can be useful in the event that something negative results because of her pretending to be threatened and pretending to be harmed and when she's truly at fault. So no, people shouldn't have to have body cams, but I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes normalized for people to have something similar to a body cam. That way they can always protect themselves in the case of something that came up. In relation to healthcare, there are some facts to healthcare bias. It's not always race related. Matter of fact, there are cases where somebody is Black and they got excellent care because they had excellent insurance. Because they know that your insurance is going to cover everything you need, and so there's different levels of bias in healthcare. But the most important thing is to make sure you have an advocate for you, to speak for you and to speak up for you in that case. Lost Sharetta, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to space. However, I think that every individual should pick someone that they know that should have to go to space. So if there's ever a chance that I get to nominate somebody to go to space, I need my exes and people like that to just worry that you may be the one to have to board that rocket ship, because I'm sick of looking at you. And I'll BS aside, if a guy contacts you because he's got a girlfriend and wants to know what kind of perfume that you had on because he wants to get it for her, just know that was about you. It wasn't about her. He just wanted to try to make you jealous or make you feel some kind of way because he finally got somebody to want him. That's all that was. He was just wanting you to be jealous. He was wanting to hurt your feelings, or he was wanting to one-up you because maybe you're still single or something like that. So that's why when people contact you with things like that, you can either ignore them depending on who it is, or you can one-up him and hurt his feelings. And if you don't know how, you can find me on social media. And I will help you out. Thank you guys for watching. This has been a fun show. I've appreciated these guest hosts. Once again, thank you to Lamar and Tam for the super chats. It's much appreciated. If you run past this video, we would really appreciate you taking a moment to just like, subscribe, and then come back around and see us on Sunday evenings. Hope to see both you ladies again. Sharette, I'm sorry you're gone. Love you. Loved your commentary and what you've brought to this show. For the rest of you, you guys be blessed. Good night. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.